it and see what's interesting coming up.
Take it away.
Well, thank you all. So Sangam Arts is really glad to be able to sponsor this portion of the program. And what we're hoping to do, I just want to take a minute to kind of tell people about what it is that's different about this to-do list, if you will. So what we're hoping to do is to kind of present a curated list of events that spans, different types, music, classical dance, art exhibits around the Bay Area. And we try our best to kind of make sure that to the extent possible, we feature free events because there's a lot of those that are very interesting. But in addition to the classical Indian music and dance, what we're trying to do is to see if we can present options for people to take in, like shows and performances that feature other cultures, which kind of keeps in line with our Sangam Arts mission, which is to help connect cultures. And Alima, you and I have talked about this before. Living as we do in this wonderful place with so many diverse traditions, I think if you restrict yourself to just kind of going to a certain genre of event,
Although that wonderful place seems to be in quotes now, is it really wonderful place anymore? Continue, Isha. I had to put that in there.
I know. We are blessed to live among such a diverse community.
The diversity in the Bay Area
absolutely.
is really
and so if you keep going every weekend to a set of performances that are just the same, whether it's Hindustani music or Carnatic music, it's kind of like going to Paris and staying in your hotel room. You're just not taking in the full richness of the community that you live in. So what we're hoping is we can present options for people to pick, and I've kind of picked out stuff that's all over the Bay Area, not just in South Bay, and also try to kind of diversify the type of art that we're focusing. So let's get started. So I don't know about you, but this movie was released in 1971, Fiddler on the Roof, for those of you who may have been living under a rock and didn't know about it.
I'm sure a lot of people were under the rock, yes.
No, maybe unless if they're really young, right? The movie was released in 1971, and it's a musical set in pre-revolutionary Russia, and actually precisely in the year 1905, and it's about this Jewish peasant who has 3 daughters, and he's dirt poor, and he's kind of lamenting, how am I going to get them married?
Right.
Very similar to what my mom and dad probably went through. Like, how am I ever going to get her off the shelf?
That's what I'm thinking too.
Wow, I'm right here.
I know. No, but anyway, so it's really amazing. And the thing about this, growing up, and I actually watched this movie in 1987, and I remember it made such an impression.
I watched it even before that time, actually. So it was so refreshing when you put Fiddler on the Roof. I go, oh my God, it's kind of like that. It's a Wonderful Life movie where it's a never-ending
musical
thing.
And it's got catchy tunes.
Yes.
But here's the amazing thing. So the Silicon Valley Jewish Film Festival is debuting actually on. The first day is Friday. This
Friday?
No, it's on Friday, October 19th at the Oshman Jewish Community Center in Palo Alto.
Okay.
And they have, that is this coming Friday. You're right.
Oh, yeah.
And they have a whole series of wonderful, critically acclaimed film. But what's amazing about this is it's a sing-along. So people who can't hold a tune in a bucket, like my husband, can still go there and sing along. They love this stuff because,
that's cool.
And the actor who played the Jewish peasant, his name is Chaim Topol. He's going to be there. Oh my God.
That's
so
cool.
It is. And it's just fabulous.
I think
you should take me.
There you go. See, I should take her.
Hey,
There you
maybe
go.
you can come with me. I'll
Yeah,
take
there you
house.
go.
Yes,
Go with her.
yes.
I think that's going to be pretty.
Dear Lord. You made many, many poor people. I realize, of course, it's no shame to be poor. But it's no great honor either. So what would have been so terrible if I had a small fortune? If I were a rich man, yabba-dibba-dibba-dibba-dibba-dibba-dibba-dum, all day long I biddy-biddy-bum. If I were a wealthy man, I wouldn't have to work hard. Yabba-dibba-dibba-dibba-dibba-dibba-dibba-dum. If I were a bitty rich, idle man, I'd build a big tall house with rooms by the dozen right in the middle of the town. A fine tin roof with real wooden floors below. There would there be one long staircase just going up, and one even longer coming down, and one more leading nowhere just for show. I'd fill my yard with the chicks and turkeys and geese and ducks for the town to see and hear, squawking just as noisily as they can. And each loud will land like a trumpet on the ear, as if to say, here lives a wealthy man. If I were a rich man, yabba-dibba-dibba-dibba-dibba-dibba-dibba-dum, all day long I biddy-biddy-bum. If I were a wealthy man, I wouldn't have to work hard, yabba-dibba-dibba-dibba-dibba-dibba-dibba-dum. If I were a biddy-biddy rich, idle-diddle-diddle-diddle man, I see my wife, my Goldie, looking like a rich man's wife with a proper double chin, supervising meals to her heart's delight. I see her putting on airs and strutting like a peacock. Oh, what a happy mood she's in, screaming at the servants day and night. The most important man in town will come to phone on me. They will ask me to advise them like a Solomon the wise. If you please, Rebetavia, pardon me, Rebetavia, posing problems that would cross a rabbi's eyes. And it won't make one bit of difference if I answer right or wrong. When you're rich, they think you really know. If I were rich, I'd have the time that I like to sit in the synagogue and pray, and maybe have a seat by the eastern wall. And I discuss the holy books with the learned men 7 hours every day. And that would be the sweetest thing of all. If I were a rich man, yabba-dibba-dibba-dibba-dibba-dibba-dibba-dum, all day long I biddy-biddy-bum. If I were a wealthy man, I wouldn't have to work hard, yabba-dibba-dibba-dibba-dibba-dibba-dibba-dum. Lord, who made the lion and the lamb, you decreed I should be what I am. Would it spoil some vast eternal plan if I were a wealthy man?
And Rangmuch with Alima is back on this 1170. I wonder how many of you guys remember, Fiddler on the Road, but it's such a lovely, lovely movie. Once again, it's in Palo Alto on the 19th.
Yeah. I think they're screening at 7 p.m.
Yes.
And at the Palo Alto Oshman Jewish Community Center.
And just for information purposes, people, the Rangmuch with Alima page on Facebook will be having all the details along with the links and information. So if anyone's interested, all you have to do is just go onto the page and we'll give you an Usha. What else do we have going on?
Let's see. So we covered Milpitas, we have Palo Alto. What we're going to talk about now is a Native American music and dance program at the Community Center for Music and Art in Mountain View. Mm-hmm. And this is the amazing part, a year we're coming up on Columbus Day, and one thing to kind of keep in mind is the impact that that is had on native cultures. And this Edim drill is a member of the Pasqua Yaqui tribe, which is among the North American Plains tribes. And he does this beautiful dance and music presentation. It's about an hour long, and it's going to be, let me look at the date here. It is on 20th
of October.
20th of October, 2 to 3 p.m., completely free at the CSMA, and we'll have all the details for you online.
That's cool.
But, Native American dancing, we can kind of relate to some of these presentations simply because the dancing and music represents an expression of their heritage. It's a very meaningful way in which such heritage is presented to contemporary society. And every song, dance, gesture illustrates a part of the Native American heritage as people with roots in the distant past.
I think that's cool. See, the thing about it, now for people who are listening out there, some of the names or some of the dance forms might sound too exotic and or maybe sound like beyond your comprehension. That is so totally wrong. It just so happens sometimes when we hear things that we're not familiar with, you probably don't want to go and explore those things. But I'm telling you, some of these things, when you explore them, just step beyond that box.
Absolutely.
And then, you will not regret it. Trust me. Someone saying this from experience on a whole bunch of things in life. This is something that you will not regret. What is it to regret about? In the sense that you like it, you don't. But at least you are getting to see different cultures, different dance forms, and you're opening up to yourself a lot more things out there.
Absolutely. And these are people that are trying to preserve a tradition that is so difficult to preserve
Same
in the
thing
current
as we are doing it, right? We do all the arangatrums, we do all the
Yeah.
classical dance. Same thing.
Exactly.
I think this is like a mutual thing. that
And
goes
art,
on.
I think, transcends at
Yeah.
some level, right? So we
Correct.
all need to be able to appreciate dance as poetry in motion.
Right.
And, storytelling as a way to connect back to our past. So this
Right.
is great. Edie Madrell, he's a member of the Pasqua Yaqui tribe, and he will be presenting at the CSMA, which is 230 San Antonio Circle in Mountain View, completely free.
On Sunday the 20th, people.
Yeah. So...
In fact, on 20th, we have another one coming up in Oakland, too.
Oh, yes. This is a really interesting one. For those friends of ours that are kind of East Bay, Oakland, here's a great one. Sangam Arts has a partner in Gamelan Sekar Jaya. These are Balinese dancers. There's a Balinese dance ensemble. These people do some cutting-edge, innovative work. So as you can imagine, Bali is predominantly Hindu, and they share kind of the epics with us. And
Right.
a lot of the dance and music relates to Ramayana. And, in fact, we at Sangam Arts are, hoping to do something with them in terms of collaboration innovation. So what they have here is an outdoor event and at Oakland's Uptown Park. Now, I've never been there, but I hear it's a beautiful park. It's got tall sculptures and trees. And they have this ensemble, about 30 musicians and dancers that are going to be performing. And they will also have a live feed from Bali that comes in at the same time.
That's cool.
So take your blanket, go hang out.
It's free. It's free.
Absolutely.
For a lot of people, you have nothing. You just kind of want to drive up to Oakland. It takes probably half an hour or
Yeah,
less.
absolutely.
It's a good family outing. Is what let me
Absolutely,
say
yeah.
that. I think art and culture is something where the whole family can go, and they
Yes.
cannot not go wrong with
Yes. And
with anything.
You have this linkage with this culture, which is we
Right.
have common mythology, and I think you will understand some of the stories, and so it's kind of one way to find a hook into that.
Come on. We sit and watch Bollywood dancing
Yeah.
and all that stuff and
Yeah, which
things
is
like
okay,
that.
but-
And that is all made up versus, hey, I think it's time we go and actually watch live real performances. I think we should,
yes. Yeah.
I think we really should, benefit them.
Yeah.
I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, and you may not like it, but then you'll never know until you go try
You
it,
go
right?
try it,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You're never going to win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket, right?
if you don't continue, keep on buying
Buying,
them
I know.
every week, right?
Until you do. All right. So that one was the Oakland one, and then do we have time to do one more?
Yep, let's do one more
okay,
before
so
we
one
go into
more.
another song.
This is, I have a special place in my heart for Stanford, obviously, because I'm a Stanford alum. Bing Concert Hall is a fantastic venue. It's a concert hall where they present all kinds of, orchestra, musical events, even dances, and so on. And what they are putting together is something called the Sing and Play the Bing. It's huge. This thing is state of the art, costs multi-millions and millions of dollars to build. And they are featuring a performances by 3 local dance companies. One of them is our very own Abhinaya Dance Company.
The ones who did on the debut of the
Yes.
Sangam. That's cool.
Well, no, they didn't do it on Sangam, but they performed in many other places. And I have to tell you, Abhinaya Dance Company is at the forefront of innovation in Bharatanatyam dance here in the Bay Area. They've, in fact, recently performed at the San Jose Museum of Art, I believe, where they performed with taiko drummers. So Abhinaya Dance Company, the guru Maithili Kumar and her company of dancers are going to be featured in this. There's also going to be the choral group, the Choral Project, I think it's called. It's a choir from San Jose that's going to be presenting. And then there is the third company is called Oruki Theatre, and they are a group of African musicians and dancers. It's actually community-based. They're trying to keep alive arts from Africa. So totally worth checking out, and it's free. It's on campus, not too far, and it's called Sing and Play the Bing at Stanford. Will be featuring Abhinaya Dance Company. And
this
that's
is on
7:30
too?
p.m.
Yeah.
Completely.
And stuff. And event.
Yes. There's this amazing Bharatanatyam dance ballet that's going to be presented by Bharati Tamil Sangam. It's called Shivagamiyin Shabadam, and I'll go over the details of that in a bit. So we have a pair of tickets to that event, which is actually a fundraiser for Uttarakhand flood relief. So I guess the first person to call in.
The first person to call in gets those 2 free
But,
tickets.
but let me tell you a little bit about that show. You'd be really excited. So if you're not Tamil and you don't know the background, this is based on this series that they had in a magazine called Kalki back in 1944. There was author Amar Kalki who wrote who had this kind of serialized story that was set in, I believe it was 7th century, South India, and it has all intrigue, romance, spy, thriller, everything in there. Really amazing. And so first they had the serialized version that appeared, I think, in the magazine Kalki, and then they published a novel. So this piece is really considered an amazing piece of literature, and Madurai R. Muralidharan, who is a very renowned composer, dancer, he has set this to dance. And so we have this Bharatanatyam ballet being presented featuring Deepa Mahadevan, who's a very famous dancer here in the Bay Area, and several other local artists and students of local dance schools. They're going to have 2 shows, one at 2 p.m., the other 6 p.m. on October 27th, which is a Sunday in Fremont at the Ohlone College. So fantastic. I mean, I'm looking forward to this. This is definitely on my list of things to go watch. And if you're into Bharatanatyam, if you're into Tamil literature, or if you just want to kind of take in something that's a little different, not your typical Bharatanatyam recital, please call in for a pair of free tickets.
Free tickets. There you go, people. Any person who is interested, the first...
A performance by a local artist who's also a dance teacher. Her name is Radhika Dinesh from Allaripu Dance School. The reason I picked her, I mean, we have lots of Bharatanatyam dance performances happening, but what I think is great about what she's doing, she's a second generation Indian American, born and raised over here, who's actually made dance her career. Cool. And that's not easy to do. A lot of kids learn dance or music and they just are not able to sustain that beyond a certain level, or they don't think there is a way to make a profession out of it. So it's really heartening to see people like her kind of establish a school and carry this tradition forward. She will be presenting a presentation called Vamsa Vruksham, which means family tree.
Family tree, right?
Yeah. And the reason it's called that is she's presenting original compositions by her grandfather and her mother. So check that out. It's also a fundraiser for Shiva Murugan Temple in Concord, and it is it's at the Mission City Performing Arts Center in Santa Clara. And it's at 4 p.m. on October 26th. Vamsa Vruksham featuring Radhika Dinesh.
Cool.
There's one last one.
Okay.
I'm just going to think, I know a lot of people know about Chitresh Das and the amazing Kathak maestro. His latest original production is called Shiva, and that is going to debut on October 26th.
It looks like it's got 2 shows.
It's got 2 shows, 26 and
27
at Z Space. Again, to me, it's really amazing that people are able to now play at these venues that are really considered pretty, kind of highfalutin art spaces, which is really great. It's great to see that we are now in this space that usually presents cutting-edge productions